Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Make It Till Friday, and I'm glad to report you made it till Friday. I'm Caroline, and today we're going to be talking about something a little different. I mean, I know I've been keeping things very upbeat, very in tune, but I want to talk about something that's very important to me, and I'm hoping that you guys can relate and it's important to you. But I feel like I've been kind of dry in my first two episodes, and I kind of want to explain why. I've been kind of going through my own sort of thing right now, I guess. I haven't felt the most myself, and I feel like you guys can relate to that. My anxiety has been incredibly bad, and my depression has been incredibly bad, and I just wanted to talk about, what I do when it comes to these moments where I feel like I'm at my worst. I don't know who I am or what I'm doing, and everything that I'm doing feels wrong. And I'm finally feeling like I'm getting out of this funk, but expressing it to you guys, I feel like will make it even more real. But I was just talking to Adriana, who we saw in the last episode, and she had a really rough day. And I feel really bad for her because I've been there, and sometimes you just need to let it all out, and I'm so happy that she trusts me to confide in today, and I'm just happy that I can be that person for her, because I feel like everybody needs to have their person. And I was talking about how I feel like when you are going to college, no one really prepares you for the mental anguish that kind of comes with being in college. And I know that sounds very harsh and very bold, but when I saw all of my older friends going to college, I truly felt like they all had a very interesting experience, and I noticed that their mental health was not what it was in high school. And my senior year, personally, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety with no drama, nothing really going on. I was doing dual enrollment. I only had 4 classes a day, but I did have a job that kind of drained the life out of me, and it just made me so anxious to go to work every day. And I would work 8-hour shifts on these long days, so I'd be doing 14-hour days. And it just made me really overwhelmed, to the point when I would wake up for school, I felt like my heart was beating out of my chest and my heart would not slow down. And I was like, I really can't bring this into college, because I knew that I've been needing to go seek out help. And I don't think it's bad to seek out help. I think it's very important to seek out help. And if you're going through something like that, please seek out help. It's so important to talk about what you're going through. But anyways, I took the time to actually go look for my own psychiatrist. I thought my anxiety and depression was more extreme than just going to therapy. And I did end up getting diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and PTSD, which that was really shocking for me, but honestly also not surprising. I am very reactive sometimes to certain things, and I never put the connection together. But finding out those diagnoses and them being able to get me on the right medication, it has genuinely changed my life. And I honestly don't believe that I would have made it through my first year of college the way I did without them, to be honest. The medication, and I started regular therapy. I know I said this last episode, but I cannot stress enough, for people that are definitely going through something and have experienced signs of trauma, it is so incredibly important that you go seek help and go seek a therapist. They are not here to hurt you, they're here to help you, and they're a really great resource if you're able to do that. I know it's not always possible for everybody, but that's why it's also important, if you are going through stuff like that, you need to have your people. And I know, like, sometimes it's really hard when everybody is causing your mental anguish, because at least personally for me, like in middle school, I was very alone, because anytime I'd bring up how I was feeling, people would just shut me out, because that was puberty. That's what kids do. They think they're hot shit. Everybody wants to be the head of everything when you're that young, and it's really hard, I'm gonna be honest. And now being older, I was able to deal with situations I dealt with in college with a lot more ease and a lot more grace. And that's another thing. Give yourself some grace. It is so incredibly important to have those moments to tell yourself, I'm proud of myself. Because that's what's going to help boost our confidence, because the only person that it really matters that you're doing good by is you. And I know that's like super easy to kind of just say instead of like actively do, but that's the point. Like, working on yourself takes time, because over so much time you dealt with so many things that it just makes you petrified for what's coming. And even my boyfriend says, like, you need to stop having expectations for things. You need to start thinking like maybe the worst. And it's like, should I? Maybe I should keep my expectations high, because maybe that will create positive standards for myself and positive standards for the people around me. And I feel like right now, a lot of people as sophomores are going through a lot of mental changes, because we're at this stage in our lives where we're dealing with so much change, and we also are working so hard to graduate, and we also want to have fun at the same time. But it seems like even though you go to college, it seems like you go back to middle school at the same time, because you're mixing and mingling with people that are from like all over, and you guys might not have the same way of living, so then you guys butt heads and it becomes a whole thing. And some people really don't have the same like natural courtesy as others, and truly, like, some people aren't empathetic and aren't like willing to share their empathy or like common courtesy. Like, it doesn't exist really anymore. Like, you have to really work hard to pick and choose your friends, because people are gonna come into your lives no matter who they are, and you might think they're like your best friend at the beginning, but over time you really learn about a person, and all that this like all of that going on, and this new friend like putting everything out on you or blaming you for everything or doing things that like are affecting you is not healthy. And we as people need to start being able to shut people out. I want to kind of circle back to something I talked about last episode, where, dang, I really lost my train of thought. I was just on a roll and I like completely lost my train of thought. Hi guys, this is future Caroline speaking. I'm so sorry, I just remembered what I wanted to talk about. She applauded me for the fact that I was able to like tell the girl no at prom to like go to our after party, because like she would do the opposite, where she would like go to the after party and leave her friends. So, and I did not realize like that was the normal. That's just what I wanted to say. Anyways, but what I wanted to say here is like, it's so important for you to work on yourself every day. And as somebody who's actively going through therapy, I know at my age, I don't know everything. I'm not gonna know everything. And a lot of people out here believe that they genuinely know everything and that they're an adult already. And that's not true. People have really changed and become worse because of social media. And it's like, I also believe some people have become better because of social media. But then the people that become better are also like sometimes weirdos. But then the people that are worse just get worse because the stigma is still there. And, like, the idea that, like, we're circling back to these guys, like, the idea that guys cheat is, like, a stigma and is, like, something that, like, continues. But the thing is, like, you can't let these things drag you down. And even though it's, like, really hard to comprehend, like, breakups, friend breakups, people hurting you in general, you're the only person that can make yourself feel better. And I feel like that's a lot easier to say than do, but over time, working on it and making it your mission to be your best friend before you can be anybody else's best friend, it helps. And don't get me wrong, the depression is still going to come. The anxiety is still going to come. It doesn't go away, no matter how hard you try. But what you can do is think positively and try to get yourself out of that funk when you're feeling like the lowest person in the world, the ugliest person in the world. And it's a hard feeling to muster, but it's important to still try to walk into every single conversation with a smile, because your mood affects somebody else's mood. And you could be talking to someone brand new and they could think that you're the worst person in the world just based on how you're acting around them. It is so important that when you walk into, this is like how the work world works, where you walk into work, you leave all of your personal stuff at the door. You do not bring that into the workplace. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of struggle with that. But the reason I do is I just feel like this year I have had so many things pile on top of each other. I have dealt with my grandfather dying this year. My uncle passed away, but that was a interesting situation, and my boyfriend's dad was in the hospital at one point, and now my grandmother's in the hospital. It's just really fun out here. That got like really deep, and I'm really sorry about that, but it's the truth, and I've been processing it, and I feel like with the fact that my grandmother's in the hospital is just making all that feelings coming back, and about being in the hospital. Like, I've been in the hospital so much this year visiting people I love, and people keep dying this year. Like, honestly, like, I just thought about one of my mom's friends who I grew up with, this lady as my neighbor, who passed away from cancer. And it is just incredible, the world we live in, but we can't stop the world. You know what I mean? The world keeps going even after people die. And that's what, like, that sounds so bad, but that's what honestly got me through my grandfather passing away. And it was really hard on me. And it still is. Like, I still listen to a certain song that makes me think of him, and I'll start to cry, or I'll think about the times we went to go visit him and my Nina in Florida, and it just hurts. But that's why the therapy is good. The meds are good. It keeps me in line. It keeps me able to record a podcast for you guys, to be in a sorority and be crop chair, to do school and not only just do it to pass by, but to actually attempt to get good grades. Your mood affects everything you do. And the only people that are able to get so many things done is people that are able to control their emotions and be ready for something. And I know this sounds brutal, but it is just, like, I'm gonna stress this again, it's just so incredibly important to watch after yourself. And I feel like people talk about it, but people don't talk about the extent of it. And I really truly believe if I had to recommend anything to incoming freshmen, it would be go seek a psychiatrist before you go to school, even just to get an evaluation, because I feel like it genuinely changed my life. And don't get me wrong, I've been to therapy before. I started therapy in COVID, and then I stopped because I thought I was doing okay. You know what? I was probably not doing okay the entire time through high school, but I kept my head low. I barely got into drama. I mean, you guys still hear the little tidbits here and there, but trust me, I went through worse. And over time, like, I feel like I've trauma blocked some of these situations that were worse, but I mean, that happens to the best of us, and that's what therapy is for, to unlock it. And then once you unlock it, you need to process it. And it's not just processing it, but learning your emotions, feeling yourself, feeling better about yourself, learning to love yourself. I feel like we all try so hard to say we do love ourselves, but we don't actually mean it. And I feel like it stems from relationships and friendships, because I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day about how, like, it is so hard to get a group when you feel like an outcast. And I feel like I just realized that you create your own group, and you can never join a group that's already created, because all you're ever going to feel like is the outsider. And it's not always a good feeling. Like, I wish I could say it was different, but it's just not. And I went through that a lot in middle school. And that's why I kind of kept my head low, kind of stuck with my more like chill friends and would sit with them at lunch. Sorry, I was getting dry mouth really bad. But everything takes time, and trying to find your group takes a lot of time. I thought last semester I finally found my group, but honestly, it split up like wildfire. Luckily, I'm still friends with pretty much everybody in the group. 2 people I'm not as close with, but we don't have issues with each other. It's just that we grew apart, and maybe one day we'll be closer friends again, but right now I don't think we'll be there, but hopefully it'll change. But I felt like an outsider for so long, and honestly, finding out my diagnoses made me feel less like an outsider. It made me feel like I was taking back all of the things that were said about me and being like, okay, but you never asked me if I was okay. No one ever wondered what I was going through. Everyone just worried about themselves. And maybe that's on me. Maybe that's on my choice of friends. And that's why I expressed that, like, it is really important that you create your village with who you want in it, and not worry about whether you're going to have a group of girls you can text in a group chat. Because honestly, it's better to have 2 friends that care about you than have 40 friends that don't give 2 flying craps if you jumped off a bridge. That's what kind of made me get through last year, because I had 2 friends that were perfect. Whenever one of my friends were just awful to me, I could give them a call and they were there. They were there by my side, and they wanted to do everything right by me. And that's really important. You need to make sure you have friends that are by your side like that. And sometimes you gotta let people go. And I didn't really learn that till high school. The one girl I talked about in my first episode, Hannah, that was the first girl that I have ever defriended. And she did a lot to me before I was able to defriend her. And that's probably because I wasn't focused on my mental health, and I was just focusing on having friends, because I lost all my friends and I wanted a friend. And I still had other friends, but I was just like, our relationship was different. We just don't talk every day. It's not like that. And I would try, but everyone has their own lives, and it's just complicated. But that was the first person I defriended. It crushed me. And the way I did it was absolutely awful, and I will take credit for that. But she did so many more awful things to me that honestly it divvies out. It could have been worse. But I digress. after that, I had some pretty good friends. I was able to kind of pick and choose some pretty good friends out of the bunch. But I will have to say, like, I wasn't done defriending people, but instead I was able to naturally grow apart from the people that I didn't want to be around anymore. And like I was talking about in the last episode, and how Adriana was like, I wouldn't have done that. I would have gone to the after party instead of staying back with my friend. I really truly believe, like, I did not know that. I really thought she'd be like me, but I didn't realize that that's a rare breed. And it's important that you do stand up for your friends and you do stand up for yourself. And I'm blunt, if you can't tell. Like, I'm a very blunt person. I will tell things straight to your face. I've been relaxed about it a lot more as I've gotten older, because my bluntness kind of comes off wrong sometimes, so I've had to kind of dial it back and kind of make my own way of saying it that's not saying it but saying it at the same time, if that makes sense. But wow, I'm lisping so bad tonight, and I think it's because my mouth is so dry. It's been very dry here in Maryland, so I'm very excited for the rain next week, which next week will actually be this week for you guys. But that's also something I wanted to talk about, was the fact that you guys get to see all the episodes on Friday, but you guys also don't see the behind the scenes where I'm editing almost every single day, and I'm also recording sometimes 2 podcasts in a week because I can't always do a podcast, and I'm trying to like be ahead of it. So, fun facts. But back to the main topic, I want to say, like, I'm hoping that the next few episodes I'm a lot more lively with you guys. You guys should have a lot of fun next week. I have another special guest, so you guys can go check that out next Friday. But we get into the nitty-gritty and the fun stuff, and it's a vibe. But I definitely do think I'm in a better spirit than the last couple weeks, because I feel like I'm finally getting out of my funk. I had a really good day that day, and I was able to project that in the podcast. And today I had a pretty good day, and I'm able to, obviously, like, I'm smiling. I'm able to project that into the podcast, and I'm so happy to share a brighter side of myself. But I also want to express to you guys, like, it's okay to feel upset. It's okay to feel depressed. It's okay to feel all these feelings, but as long as you have your support, that's what you need. And that's why I decided to post them anyway, because I wanted to show you guys my most authentic self. And I'm hoping this week I can kind of show you like a better version of myself, where I'm happy and I'm smiley and I'm able to keep it up. Wow, I'm saying like way too much, but let's give yourself credit where credit is due. You guys, I promise you guys work so hard every day. Give yourself credit for all the things that you are doing, because it is incredible that you guys are out here doing school, doing work, maybe in a frat or a sorority, or going out on every single weekend but still getting A's and B's. Pat yourself on the back. Like, that's really hard to do. Even I don't do all of that. And like, it takes me a while to really get in the headspace to go out, because I am an anxious person and I'm kind of the mom of the group where I really don't want people to get hurt. When I went to Project Glow, yes, I went to Project Glow this year. That was really fun. But when I went to Project Glow on the second day, I was the one carrying Narcan, because I was worried that anybody around me was going to get ill. Now, I was a sober sister, and gladly, like, I don't want to participate, gladly. But I also am not going to let people sit around and continuously, like, get hurt or not be safe, because those crowds are bad. I got, like, Travis Scott trapped at that concert, festival, and I literally had a panic attack because it was a literal 1.5 miles of people we had to walk through to get out of the stage. We were 5 people from the main stage, and that was, like, the biggest stage they had, which was insane. But like that, I made the decision that day. I left early, and Rue was so mad, but Rue also knew that, like, she knew that it was not worth, or they knew it was not worth it, because they knew how I was feeling. I had a panic attack. The rest of the night, I'm gonna feel unsafe. I'm not gonna feel good. And that's why you have to be in tune with yourself. I was at one of the biggest events. I spent good money on this event, and I still chose to leave early for my mental health, but I don't regret it. I did for a while, but now I really don't, and I'm very happy I made that decision, and it was, like, the safe decision. Everyone else still got to have fun. Rue's dad literally thanked me for bringing Rue home safe, and it just kind of made me feel better. And sometimes you just kind of got to take the small things people give you and be happy about them. I bet my roommate gets so annoyed with me because every single day I'll walk into their room and tell them almost every single detail about my day. But that's because I just, like, think of things like that. I'm very analytical, and I'm, like, I think of things structurally, so I'll be like, oh, so this happened, and this happened, and everybody sucks at driving. You know what I mean? I'll kind of go through my day, but it helps get it out, and it's important to, like, let it out. And especially if you have the frustrating days, be like, today sucked. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? It's good to just feel it out, or tell somebody something funny. Like, you're the only one that can really make yourself smile. People are not supposed to be responsible for your smile. You are. That's why I do the podcast, because it makes me feel good, and it gives me something to look forward to. I mean, school, sorority stuff, everything has been stressing me out. And I needed an outlet that was not just my therapist and something I could control, and could be like when I need to talk about something or I want to talk about something. And that's why I'm able to, like, sit down with you guys today and give you guys such a great episode, because I was able to do it whenever I wanted. I was like, I can do it today or I could do it Sunday. But I was thinking all day about how I wanted to make this episode about mental health, and I just had a good track mind of doing it. That's what you gotta do. What ended up happening is, like, why I decided to start a podcast was actually my roommate Taylor was like, Caroline, you don't have anything for you anymore. You don't do horseback riding anymore. You don't do anything. Like, maybe you need to find something that's for you, because I was getting, like, really depressed, and she could tell. That's why I started the podcast. And when I tell you this was months in the making, I think I'm 2 months into podcasting, even though you guys have only been here for 2 weeks. The setup for podcasting is actually insane, and the amount of support you need to make it happen is also insane. I send my videos to my sister because she's the only person in this world that's going to be like, you can't post that shit on the internet. Seriously, people are like, siblings are the worst, they give you such bad advice, they're so against you. Like, my sister personally looks out for my best interest at heart and knows that she doesn't want me to destroy my life. Now, has it been smart of me to post so many stories online? Probably not, but I can deal with that when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, I am 19, and when I'm an adult, like, it's gonna be different. I'm gonna be different. It's just like the Call Her Daddy podcast, it's been out for like 6 years, but it's definitely not the same as it started. And I feel like the podcast is also going to change as it goes along. But this is my outlet. And that's why I wanted to talk about mental health, because I want you guys to learn to find your outlet so you don't feel like an outcast anymore. So you don't feel like you're not worth something, because I'm here to tell you that you are worth something and you are worth this world. And you'll be like, well, we all die anyway. We all like go away anyway. It's like, yeah, we do. So you only have one life. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to tackle it? What I want to do is I want to have fun. I want to enjoy my life. I want to experience things. I want to go on vacations. I want to go to Europe. These things that inspire me and creating these goals for myself is what's going to help me get along in the future and get past all of this hate, all of the hurt in my heart, all of this trauma. Doing things that are going to heal my soul is what I need to focus on. And yeah, maybe I'm going to work a corporate job, and maybe sometimes that corporate job will eat my soul, but will that corporate job give me the money to do the things that make me happy? Heck yeah. All the money right now is in accounting, because there is a lack of accountants, because the only people that really wanted to be accountants were boomers and Gen X. Millennials do not want to be that. They're actually, the idea that millennials are lazy, it's actually kind of true. My mom is a Gen X. My dad is actually a very, very late boomer, like in the last like 2 years of the boomer generation. And both of them are hardworking people, ready to do anything, want the best for their kids, even though they have their moments where I feel like they would be happy if we weren't here, but like not saying I should like not exist. But there's some people that you look at them and you're like, you're meant to have children. And my mom's kind of one of those people, but because like she had children, I feel like it also messed with her mental. And not in like a crazy way, but kind of in a crazy way, but we love her. And our relationship is growing, and that's what's important. And that's like, for all those girls that are out there like, oh my God, my mom hates me, she's not there for me, she's not looking at my best interests, like, why is she screaming at me for grades? And it's like, because honestly, she's scared. It has nothing to do with them worried about you. She's like, actually no, it has everything to do with them being worried about you. But your parents' job is to make you successful, to make you happy. And my mom and my dad did not believe in mental health, and they, for a long time, and they just believed in general like anxiety and depression that everybody has, but like not the diagnosable version. And that's where my mom got scared, because she does fight or flight, and she goes straight to fight, and she's like, she takes offense to it, like she's doing something wrong. It's like, maybe you are doing something wrong, but I think it's important to also listen to your children and evaluate whether it's like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back, or maybe like, no, I need to be the adult in this situation. There's like a balance, you know. But with that, like, family also causes people major mental anguish, and sometimes you just gotta deal with the situation, process it, reflect, and then just commit to it, because people are not going to change for you no matter how much they try, especially people that have no goals in changing or have no aspirations to be any different, because some people that are much older don't really want to change, and they want to keep things the way they are. And it's not a bad thing, but like, for example, hey y'all, sorry, it's future Caroline again. I messed up and I told a story I probably shouldn't have, and it borderlined on me getting canceled. So pretty much, just to sum up, the point of the story was that like older people don't change, and they kind of like stick to their ways. no matter what you try to do, and you can't really tell old people they can't do something. So that's pretty much the whole point of that. So when people are older, they really have no want to change, and it's hard. But I cannot be, like, my dad cannot be out here telling my grandmother at 94 years old, tripping off meds, that she can't say something. Like, we're past that point. She's gone. Sorry, y'all. This is Future Caroline again. I was yapping my ass off, and I really don't know what I was saying. But no, my grandmother is still alive. She's well. She's still in the hospital, but she's doing okay. But she's not, like, gone. She's just, like, gone in the sense of, like, we're not going to be able to change her mind on her opinions. But, like, her opinions aren't terrible, you know. But what we need to do is, like, they're processing their lives, and they're going to go there and either go up or go down, whatever you believe in or support. I'm personally a Methodist, so I say up or down, but I digress. It's important to take care of yourself, and especially with these family situations and with people that really are, like, against what you believe. Like, I feel like that's another thing that I've noticed is people have actually been dealing with terrible anxiety and terrible depression because of what's going on in our world, and I would like to give you some peace of mind. There is a natural balance. And I truly believe that Caroline's back at it again, talking out of her ass, almost getting herself canceled. Future Caroline here. Sorry, y'all. I can't post this part. It just borderlines a little bit too much with me getting canceled, so, and with, like, opinions and stuff, and it doesn't even express my opinions on stuff, but, like, it just borderlines a little too hard, and I don't want to make this podcast any which way, like, talking about any form of politics or anything, so, yeah. I want to throw us on a more positive note, because I feel like I've talked a lot about the negative, and let's talk about some positive. Next weekend is Halloween, and I feel like we are all very excited for Halloween. I do have some plans, and I'll fill you in on some of my plans. Thursday, I have a rehearsal dinner for a wedding that's going to be on Friday. It is a Halloween wedding. I'm sort of excited. It's kind of complicated, but we'll get into that. But I have the rehearsal dinner, and then after that, I'm going out with my two friends, so I'll be able to talk about that not the following week, but the week after that. And then Friday is the Halloween wedding, and the reason why I say that's a little iffy is because I kind of met this girl 6 months ago, and I've known her fiance for 3 years, and I never met her, and they've been together for 10 years, and I thought that was actually kind of crazy, because I'm the only reason, like, I'm in the wedding is because I'm so close to the family, which, by the way, I was not asked to be in the wedding, I was told. So I thought that was pretty crazy, and I found out, like, 2 weeks before this wedding, so kind of stressed, but I'll look good. Fun fact, I'm gonna be Jessica Rabbit for Halloween. I have, like, a skirt switch out, though. I have, like, a dress that I'm gonna wear like a skirt under my corset, and then so when I go out, I can wear a mini skirt, so I bought a mini skirt. Trust me, I was the last one to buy that mini skirt, and they were sold out of that size. Like, it was done. I was, like, really happy I was able to score that skirt, because it looks cute as frick on. Have to say that. But I'm very excited about Halloween, because this year I'm actually going to be able to do something, and last year I wasn't able to do anything. I forget why, but I was just, like, not able to go out and participate, which is super unfortunate, but it's fine. Another thing is Space is not throwing next weekend, and there is so much beef about that. Like, first of all, I'm hearing rumor that Space is not the shit anymore, and the people that show up are not the shit. Like, people, get your shit together and fucking party. That's what it's for. Third of all, Space, what the fuck are you doing? Throw. It is Halloween weekend. You are lacking on some real good raging opportunities, because then after my wedding I could have gone to Space and then had just drank more, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I'm gonna like pop off at this wedding. I'm so excited. And like, they're gonna have a tattoo artist, so your girl's getting a new tattoo probably. I'm very excited for that. Here's like my little ideas. I was thinking about either getting a cross above my mountain range. I have a mountain range that's right where like a wedding garter would be, and it wraps all the way around my leg like a wedding garter, but it's not like that. It's literally just a representation that, back to the mental health thing, mountains are like my peace. And on my very worst day in 2024, I decided to steal my best friend Maddie, jump in the car, and drive all the way to the mountains and make it all the way there, because I just felt like I needed to get away, and it gave me a peace of mind, and it meant a lot to me. So I wanted to get a tattoo that represented it, because it was the only thing that made me feel close to God and close to peace, if that makes sense. So I'd really like to get a cross above my mountain range, because I wanted to do that when I got the tattoo, but the tattoo was already like $400, so yeah, no, we're good at 4. But the other idea I had was I was gonna get like a cowboy boot, or like little horses or something like back here, or like a cowboy hat. I don't know if I like that idea as much, because I'm very picky about my tattoos, and every single tattoo I have has meaning. So I feel like the cross is like kind of a smarter idea, because I've been wanting to do that. But I feel like a silly tattoo would also be fun. The thing is like, I also can't put anything on this shoulder, because I'm going to be getting a bigger tattoo on that shoulder. I haven't figured out what, but I want something cute. Something that kind of coordinates with the ones I have. Like, I have this one on my arm that says Dulce Fer Niet, which, back to mental health, means the sweetness in doing nothing. Very type A. Very straight to the point, but my roommate kind of called me out. I'm a little type C, actually. I have some B tendencies, but I'm usually very type A. I like to make lists. I like to plan out my days. I like to stay very busy. I like to do. I do too much. But I got this tattoo to remind myself that, like, it's okay to wind down. It's okay to take a break. That goes out to any of you guys. It's okay to chill and enjoy the chill, because sometimes when I'm like relaxing, I'm like, I need to do something, like, no, girl, you're good, you're done, you don't need to do anything anymore. And I never think about that. I just like assume that it's just gonna be what it be. But anyways, what else do I want to say and talk to you guys about? One thing I feel like that also kind of affects my mental health, back on the mental health topic, is when you're in a relationship, it's really hard to, like, after 3 years and going through the most large amount of age, like, that's not the correct grammar, like, the ages where you're going through the most change, those are the words. It's kind of hard to grow together, and I am so happy to say that me and Kyle never ever broken up, never really like went on a break like we went like we were supposed to, and it literally lasted less than 24 hours because we care so much about each other. But I'm not gonna say it's easy. And I'm not gonna say that it doesn't cause me stress or mental anguish or anything like that. Like, it is so incredibly important that you take care of yourself before you take care of somebody else. And sometimes in relationships you don't even think about it. Like, you're just like, hold on, I need to help this person, I need to be there for this person. But then it's like, at the end of the day, you can't be there for that person if you're not there for yourself. And that goes for any relationship you're in. Like, that's why I've been going to therapy, so I can bond closer with Taylor. And I think it's helped because I feel like I can have more connections in relationships and more connections in people. And I really enjoy the people I've met and talked to and experienced. And I feel like now that I'm doing better, I'm able to meet more people and enjoy life and not worry if I'm embarrassed by myself. Like, I spent the last 2 weeks while going through my depression. Well, I don't even think it was 2 weeks. It was kind of a long one. I think it was like a month. But in the last 2 weeks of it, like, getting better, it was like nothing would make me happy. But hi y'all, it's Future Caroline here. Sorry my brain keeps breaking. I just want to explain that, like, I was super depressed, and like anything I did, like, I felt like I was super embarrassed by, but like as soon as I got out of the depression, everything changed, and I was able to like process my feelings again and realize that like I was genuinely overthinking a lot of it. But yeah, that was the point of this. Overall, like, I just gotta say, like, you have to go through growth with any relationship you're in. And it's not gonna be an easy pattern. It's not gonna be an easy start, but all you can do is try. And this is gonna sound crazy, but even if you fake yourself to smile, it releases chemicals in your brain that kind of changes the way you think. And the other day I was feeling really sad, but then I was talking to my therapist and I fake smiled at her because I was like, I physically like can't smile right now. It feels weird, like my muscles won't do it. And she was like, doesn't that make you feel funny? Doesn't that make you feel a little happier when you do that? And I was like, yeah, I don't know why, but it did. So I want to leave you guys on this. You do not have to impress anyone. You do not have to do anything that puts you in an uncomfortable situation. And if you want to, push your boundaries in a safe way. Being there for yourself is more important than anything in the entire world. You will never feel content or satisfied with anything if you don't find yourself first. Don't get me wrong, I'm no saint, no angel. I definitely don't have my stuff together, but one thing I can say is at least I'm going out of my way to make it better. So with that, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I hope you guys continue to say hi, come talk to me. I'm still looking for people to send me stories. I would really love for you guys to do that. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm not quite sure what happened. I ran out of memory space, but just to leave you guys on this for this weekend, be safe, have fun, don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I hope you guys have a great Halloween weekend. You guys are gonna have so much fun. Just truly be safe out there. They're really cracking down on certain places, so if you are underage, please, please, please be safe. Just want to stress that. Alrighty, have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.